Alright, so this is going to be really dull because no music or anything. But here's a little tutorial based off of my PB. I'll just be pointing stuff out on the console no flight skip route. This is a PB from day one, so obviously this run isn't going to be good. But you start the split right when you press the button that, you press it right when you press A there. So now that we have a patch, loading screen on at least PS4 should take about 20 seconds. And we'll get into the actual game a little less than 30 seconds in. You'll just skip this triangle, and then you're about 30 seconds in, you can start moving. So basically, if you're really new to this, some of you could skip ahead if you're not new, but just hold triangle to mash through text. Well, not even mash, just hold it to go through text. And then, he's teaching us tail twirl. We don't need any quills for this route. There is another route that would involve going into tribal stack and getting a couple moves, but I personally believe this route is a little faster because of avoiding loading zones and stuff. I don't think even if it was possible on PC that it would be faster. So what we're doing here is trowzer skip. You just want to get onto these trees. Some of these tail twirls are unnecessary, and oh shit. Okay, so if you go to the left there'll be a life extender if you need that for capital B, or a later part in the run. I accidentally pressed the audio button, so I apologize for that. So here's the part that text is going to come up. You hold triangle or Y or whatever system you're playing on. X, I imagine, for Switch, because that's the one on the top. And then you get up here. The Switch version isn't even close to, well, we don't know when it's going to launch at the time of this video. So when you don't have roll, the best idea is just spam jump attack, because that's the fastest way of movement without roll. Alright, so here, you just mash through trousers text. There's going to be a decent amount of skippable cutscenes, but some stuff you won't be able to skip, and it'll mostly be text you can mash through. That little camera pan you can't skip. However, once you see the right, you press, well, you almost kind of mash that button, the skip button, because, you want to skip it as fast as possible. Now I want to mention this because, I messed up the first one, which is bad. It'll be right here. You want to walk away from trowzer and then jump on here. And then you would jump onto here. Right here, you want to aim for generally this spot, like right around here. Let me double check that I'm capturing my cursor. I apologize for this. Let me double check. Yeah, I'm capturing cursor, okay. Whoops, sorry. This, oh shit. Professional, okay. But yeah, you want in this general spot, from here to here, you want to aim for the right, generally. Or what is your right? It's technically the left of his thing. Once you get this Pagie, if you're on PC, you wouldn't even hold the skip button, you would just go back to main menu, but since the loading screens are so long compared to PC, and the fact that we count loads, we're just going to keep going and just match the text. And then Shroud's going to be like, hey, over here, fellas, and go down here. Just kind of make your way to him as quick as possible, which wasn't too quick for me, but you just hold the button to skip text. He's just going to say how to roll, which hopefully if you run this game, you'll know how to roll. It doesn't take explanation. I'll put timestamps of the pages in the description, probably, to let people know what part of the run is what part. But now I just kind of hold down and left, and then I kind of change it when the camera pans to go up here. Now, this is the first difficult part of the run that can make a reset rather. So I almost think, wait, I go there and I'm like, wait, what am I doing? Because what we want to do is, he's like, come back for me later, but no, we want you now. You could do it from any angle of the Pagie. I recommend either the front or the side. But pause clipping, when I get it, I'll show. So right there. Okay, let's go back. There's a little pause clipping thing. You want it to be right as you hit the wall, which is a little harder for cages, but you'll get it. The problem is we don't get our get out of jail free card, so you can roll around to get out of there, but I prefer to jump attack out of there, and it's really hard to say which one is the easiest direction to get out of. It's all preference, but you want to try to get out of there, and then once you're out of there, you're going to roll this way. A fast split would be less than 5 minutes, but this split, that wasn't too fast, I believe. So you made it to the Grand Home, you just mash the text. This would be different on PC, of course, because you'll want to get out of bounds, but we can go out of bounds anytime, really. What we'll want to do is we'll want to get on this pipe, and then we'll want to get on this red pipe, the one on the left or the one on the right. Want to get on top of this, and then it's okay. So I did that a little fast, so let me go back to that. That's normally something you'll need Reptile Rush for. But what you want to do is you want to clip, like you see this has it, you want it so like the Laylee, or technically the Yooka, just barely goes into the Pagie so that it'll collect it, because it's pretty close to that. And it'll collect it. If you see the Pagie counter when you pause it, you'll know that you got it. If you don't get it, if you keep holding forward, you'll probably stay on that. Now here's something that would also be in the any percent route. You can roll and clip right into that, but it's a little more difficult. And here I have some technical difficulties, so I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. What you want to do, I aim for this spot right here. It's bad to look at. This little triangle thing. That's why you see me doing that. Like I aim like around this corner. But it works in a lot of general places. You just kind of want to like go straight into it instead of diagonal like I have a few times. And that's what I say is the first split, which is exit hub 1. You could put ones right after the first page or whatever you want, but this is when I say our run's going. There are other run enders, but I think this is like the one that says like starts it. Because I mean, it's okay when you're starting out, but I want to say you want an optimal one would be less than 5 minutes. If you have it past 6 minutes, you might want to reset, because the cage takes a while to get out of sometimes if you have troubles. Now we're just gonna mash jump because it's faster than swimming, and then we're just gonna get up here. Now, okay, so this sign right here, that sign we double jump onto it, but if you double jump too close, it'll make you look at it. Now, you jump on there, and then this invisible Pagie. It's another pause clip. You'll want to clip here, and then you'll go, like when you get it, you'll go slightly right, so that you don't fall through, like the little wall. And then you turn right immediately, and then you're in here. Then the gate will automatically go down, because that's how the Pagie works if you had invisibility. And then, okay, so once we're here, we have 4 pages. We'll need 10 to enter Cashino. This route consists of 11. It would be 12 if you do tribal stack, because tribal stack costs 1. Now you don't actually have to pause clip here. It just makes it easier, in my opinion, despite me having issues with it. And like right here, go in there, and then what you want to do, I think I had issues there. You want to just collect it, but there's a jingle that you'll hear around here. You want to wait for the little charge jingle before you go through that. Then you go through here. As soon as you enter through this area, once you have your 5th page, you'll want to turn around with a roll and talk to Vendy. Now this is a new game plus thing. This is where you'd want to equip athlete. There's other spots you can, but basically you just have to beat the game once to get athlete, and it'll like pretty much double your stamina. So it's really worth getting. You could do it without tonics. It just makes your life a lot easier. I'll mention that the other route that I think is just a little bit slower gives you Slurp Shot and Body Slam, which will make the final boss easier, but other than that, we don't really need it. And it'll make Cashino a little faster, but other than that, it's a little slower, I think. Okay, so what we did there after we talked to Trowzer is we went on that little gate thing, and we want to get on top of the tube. Now you'll likely miss many cycles just based on how it is. You want to stand in the middle so it'll come to you, and then you just kind of want to make your way over to this glitter glaze thing. Now if you fast, you would roll onto that, you'd be on the book, and then you jump again as soon as you get on the book to get onto that. But if you mess that up, just do that. And then you want to get on like that part of the crystal and then this part, and then you just kind of, make your way up. And a lot of this is self-explanatory, but I just figure I should explain it. Okay, so this is what we call honey skip that's coming up. This part can be hard. You could do roll buffering and stuff. There are other tutorials just for this page. Normally you need a honey thing. I think I get this one. No, actually, I think this one takes me a little bit. But what I recommend is aiming to the... No, I get it pretty early. But you aim to the right, you could technically roll a second time. And there's multiple ways to do that one. That's how I find easiest. You can, for this clip, roll right to it to get through that. But I just jumped attack right. Like I said, it takes a while to get pause clipping down. But you jump attack right when you're about to touch the wall. And then you want to aim left and glide so that you won't fall into eternity. Because if you end up not landing there before the little zone to transition, you'll fall and you won't stop falling because there's no death zone. You'll have to return to the main menu. So now we have 8 pages. Let's skip a little bit ahead. Okay, so now here we're going to get a few more pages before we enter Cashino. And just 2 more clips, well, a few more clips before we enter Cashino. 2 more for the pages, rather. So one here, you could get it through rolling, but if you miss it, well, I think I somewhat got it. And if you somewhat get into a cage like this, you could turn on roll and or jump attack, and then just keep going, like keep pausing. I got that one super quick, which was nice, because it's another one of those cages that you can be stuck in for a while. But then once you land on this switch, this is pretty crucial. You don't want to clip through this if you can, because that will make it harder later if you did that. But now we're going to want to go through here. If you're low on stamina, just jump attack through here, because you'll get your stamina back for by the time you get to the thing. Then you'll want to get out of here. Now, I know it's another KG, boo, but this one, the game's nice, and we got ourselves a get out of jail free card. So, that one's one of the few KGs that do that. So that one's worth getting, because it has like a little checkpoint if you fall off. Now, I should have mentioned real quick, so if you go down here, you could also clip into that one. That's another option. So if you don't want to do some of the KGs, there's that one. Then right around here, I'll go here, a little bit back. Well, a little bit back more. So when you get the archive Pagie, this one I think is a little harder and out of the way. Where this lines are, there's a extra Pagie that you would reptile rush. You can get into that one if you go from the side. But I recommend just getting the ones that I put in this video because it's just a little bit faster. So once you have your roll back, you'll roll a bit, and then mid-through roll, you'll glide so you don't take fall damage. Then you'll roll again. Now this part can take a few tries, but luckily since you went through that book area, which I highly recommend getting that Pagie, you go through here. It takes a little bit sometimes, because what you're going to have to do is, as soon as you get it, which I recommend getting on this thing, you want to glide as soon as possible, because then you're going to go around to here. Once you have 10 pages, you can open up this world. You'll just kind of hold the button and just say yes. So that's a little bit of time. And once we get in here, we're in Cashino. So I'd say the middle of Cashino is about halfway through the run, maybe. Because my capital B's were pretty bad in the runs I've done lately. But okay, so I should explain what just happened there. You normally would slide off this, but there is a slight... You want to glide into it. There's a slight spot you could stand on. If you don't like this, well, what you do, I should mention, is just go onto this little tilt-whirl. You don't even have to tilt-whirl. You can just jump glide, double jump glide through there. But if you don't like it, you could just roll and pause clip through that door. But I think that this one's easier. Excuse me. Now, what you're going to want to do just to get a quick, well, not even quick, But a token is, this guy will lower this thing right here. It will take a little bit of cutscene. It is a little slow, but it's worth it, because there is another way to get some tokens. But I wouldn't recommend it because it's pretty hard and inconsistent. This is the first token you would get. You know, all this dialogue. Now, I should mention, rolling to this, you could clip through this, but it's super hard and inconsistent. If you do that, it'll be like the buddy bubble, except you can roll around the place. You know, get the pages down here. You could destroy that barrel and fly up and get some of those, maybe even the life extender. What we're doing here is, since we don't get the ones by the barrel, we're going to be getting just all the tokens underwater here. Now, you want to avoid the jellyfish if possible. If you would, make sure you have some life here, because this might go down pretty low. And you might get hit. I think I almost got hit one of those, but that was what made my Cashino pretty good, is because you want to avoid the jellyfish, and they're kind of annoying. Now, you want to get over to this side where you see all these quills and stuff, and first things first, you go over to that lamp. Then you go over here, and then you get onto this. This is a little bit like pipe jump almost. We call it pipe jump. But you kind of like get up like right here, then double jump, and glide, and you get onto this part right here. It's a little hard to do, but you'll get used to it. If you miss it, there's a slight part you double jump off here. But it's really like right around here, like right there. It's hard. Now this is just kind of movement is the fastest part. You just kind of roll. I mean, if you do stuff like that, that's going to be bad. You just kind of roll sometimes, maybe just go normally. This is where you might accidentally collect quills, and if so, you just got to keep in mind how many you have. I think I clicked one. Yeah, you just got to keep in mind that how many tokens you have, because you want to make sure you have 10 by the end of this. Now, I should mention two things. If you got all the tokens, if you want, you can jump clip through this and just leave. And start getting to capital B faster, but this is more consistent and easier. So I recommend starting out with this. But you're just jumping off the side of this to get that token. But now you're just making it to this mysterious B-man that looks oddly like capital B. He has glasses and a mustache, so can't be capital B. His suit's a bit different, I think. Yeah, I never understood why we got Pages from this guy, because he looks a lot like capital B, like brothers or something. But as soon as you get that Pagie, you can return to hub, and then you'll have a split there. I don't know how much to say optimally is, because I haven't done too many runs yet. But after this, get out of here. Trowzer will talk to you automatically. You'll hold the button. Then what you want to do here, I mentioned this earlier, you want to get up to this, because you'll have more height to get over to that. So you'll jump attack and tail twirl. Once you get it, it's like I said, it's just right when you hit the wall. It might take a little bit to get, and you want to jump a little bit away just so you have some room. It's possible to do it without much room, but some room makes it easier. You could do it at the start of your air attack. I usually see it right as, you can spam pause if that helps you when you first learn it. But you glide after that. This split was actually pretty bad in my PB. I could have saved a lot of time here. But we're going to do this little slanted book, the slide from the top. You're going to go up to the Slippy edition. And then you could go up to this lamp. I messed that up, which is a time loss. If you want to talk to Vendy to change something, like if you have ball there or something, or if you're doing the tribal stack route, this would be a good time to switch to Super Slam. But we're just going to stick with Athlete for the entirety of the run. We get up on top of this once the blowing goes away, or mostly goes away at least. And what we did there is we went to the slight part of the book that's there and jumped up here. Kind of just wait out the wind, go up here, and then unfortunately it's almost like always that you'll wait out this wind. But it's not too much of a time loss. And what I do here with this little smiley face thing, you could jump off right before it. When you're up here, you could roll a little bit, but the ideal place to roll, you could roll like down here. Now what I recommend, we're going to enter this area because we could spawn easier if we die. Not just as a safety time loss, but this will come in handy later, because you wouldn't want to spawn by Cashino, of course. And once we get out of there, doesn't matter if you roll, because you won't be rolling for long. You know, this route is pretty much the same if you do tribal stack, other than talking to vending at this point. So, okay, it was just a tail twirl double jump, air attack glide. You could do glide then air attack. I find this easier. It's kind of like trowzer skip in a sense. You can go on top of this for this next part. Doesn't matter, because you can get on to the end part. But it's okay if you take damage. You tank some damage here. Because ultimately, you can die early to spawn faster. I think this might be, maybe not necessarily faster, but easier at least. And you want to maybe get down to 1 health if you're cutting it close. Just like, what I recommend is swimming a little, then jump like glide. But, you know, you can get there without falling on the fast if you prefer other ways. Basically, you talk to Trowzer, and then you'll just roll right into the acid. Kill yourself to a little spawn thing. Then we're gonna spawn over by the books, which is why this is why we want this little area open earlier. It's because we'll be going through here later, of course. So now once we have athlete in the flight, because you know this is no flight skip, we're gonna start heading to the Ivory Tower elevator thing. So I think I get this actually first try. I could be wrong, but if you don't, well. If you don't get the roll, which I got it, if you don't get this roll, what I recommend, because you don't want to run out of stamina, there's a part here, you can go from the left and just jump attack here and pause, but you don't want to jump attack here, because this whole part right here, if you press A, you'll go through the dialogue, and that's a time loss. But you know, pausing like that, flip through that, it's not too thick of a wall. You know, that's not a split for me. I split after the quiz because, you know, RNG, and I don't like having a split just for the quiz. Quiz is pretty explanatory. You just kind of hold the button. That's why I'm not really going to explain anything. The Ivory Towers will be 11 pages, and the cools will be however many you collected. If it's Ivory pages, like if it asks for Ivory Towers, you'll say 10. You know, there's a lot of answers just on the... If you need the general answers, they're going to be on the... There's a guide on the speedrunning site, so look at that site under, I think, either guide or resources. Most of the answers are there, so we'll skip ahead. Doesn't take long. Then after this loading, I usually split right before this loading screen. And then, you know, you could have completely different splits as long as you split it at the right time. But, you know, okay, actually, I should explain this. Oops. So, you'll skip a... Okay, come on. So, you'll skip a few cutscenes on the way here when you enter the thing. But here comes capital B fight. So, a lot of this fight is going to be rolling a lot. You might take damage, but if you do that, it doesn't matter. As long as you didn't take damage super early. There is a way to 2-phase. I'm very bad at it, so I didn't get it. I've never gotten it, actually. But it is possible to 2-phase without the Super Slam Tribal Stack route. What we want to generally do is outrun these bees, and then just try to get to them as fast as possible once you've outrun them. But like you saw, I can take damage as long as it's super short after the bees. If you don't outrun the bees, you'll take damage. Of course, you don't want to... You can wait for your energy to respawn after it. That's why I don't roll right away after I attack him. You know, once I do that, he puts his hand down. That's a sign of, okay, it's ready. And then you just spam Trail 12, basically. 2 cycles are pretty hard. Okay, so this is one of the parts that'll be different than Tribal Stack. He'll drop a few crates. One that'll be here and here. So pay attention to where he is with the camera. And then you're going to want to roll for a while. If you were doing the Tribal Stack route, you will take Slurp Shot and just kind of spam that. what we want to do is we want to roll into him quite a few times. This phase would be considerably slower, but ultimately I think this route's faster. Plus you don't have to worry about tribal stack. But over here, you just do this, jump, you keep going. Just basically keep jumping. When you get low on stamina, it's going to happen in a second. So I'm low. So what I do, wait for him to throw, jump attack. Oh, well, I did this bad. You could take damage if you do something like that. What you want to do is jump attack, wait for the thing, wait for him to throw another, and then jump attack. If you get too close, he'll just start flying away. You can also just kind of... That was a mistake, because, sometimes you need to wait, too, for it to fully recharge. But, when you don't have the little air attack waiting, you can just keep the rolling. Rolling's faster. And you got to keep in mind the mob people are going to be somewhere, but if he hits them with the bombs, he'll take them out. But, I checked to see where they were, and they get far away eventually. Once he gets down, it's that part, and then he's going to say some stuff, a little bit of cutscenes. Skip ahead. So here's phase 3. He's going to do some little shock waves. After this little back one, the third one, the fourth one is when he's going to fall. So you can do that and go straight for an air attack, and then just basically spam tail twirl. You don't have to do anything fancy with the phase 2 thing. I should mention, you do it right when his cane drops, is when you want to start. You notice I didn't start the tail twirl right away. And then right here is these things are going to chase you. There are other ways to do this, but the easiest way is when he jumps up from the third one. This is a little slower, but you just kind of roll and then hit him. And then you see right when the cane drops, I start attacking him. He breaks those. It's a little bit of a cutscene. This is basically autopilot. You don't want to miss I shouldn't say autopilot. I mean more like it's on rails, because it's going to be the same amount of time if you just get each cycle. Well, basically the same amount of time. So, you just jump around these. Now, I should mention, this little shockwave, if it's like right here, depending on how close, you have to keep in mind, am I able to hit him without that hitting me and interrupting this cycle? Because sometimes you should wait. Sometimes you can get it. So, here's the last one of phase 3. What he's going to do is he's going to do the same thing, but with bees to chase you. What I basically do is I glide a lot to get over all these. Then when he does the fourth one, jump over this. You might have to jump over the previous one. Do that, and then you can do like a little jump around thing. Okay, so there's multiple ways to do. Multiple ways to do this part. So he's gonna fly over here. He's gonna shoot a thing. You don't want to be a little bit far. Like you can jump over here and glide up, but you'll understand why that's slower in this route in general. Plus, you'll conserve your stamina if you don't do that, because there isn't going to be any more text until you beat the game. When you see this come up like right here, you want to double jump, and it's basically if you get the good height right when it's coming up, it'll be fine. If it does, like I don't think it happens in this run, but if it does happen to go too low, you could jump air attack. I didn't. So you can air attack it to misguide it, and that's going to be important at 90%. But you can get rid of one. I didn't mean to. But you're going to want to get a 2-cycle. You're going to get him once. Now the problem is we don't have Super Slam, so we can't really get out of flight early. However, we can do the second and third. Now I accidentally hit him twice, but you want to do is you want to get one, and then you want one to go off course. Do that either the first or second time. Once one is here, you can kind of direct it. It's basically just directing missiles into him. Now the last phase I did really bad, and you'll see why. But the last hit, it's just 4 hits. You can fall there. I actually got really close to dying on this PB. So, like, skipping ahead a little bit, we just want to get this last missile. I have 1 health here, so this is pretty dangerous. You can see that. If you have really low health, it'll show it. But I take forever, and say you're about to run out of stamina, because that happens a little bit for me. Oh, shit. Well, you'll notice I run out of stamina. If you're fast enough and high enough, even if you run out of stamina, you can be just fast enough. If you get high enough, you can just glide and you'll be alive for a bit. I was so close to dying. If you die during this cutscene, like when he hits them, you still win. So don't worry about that. There's many times you might just die when that happens. You can skip the cutscene. The run ends right on... Well, okay, so I should mention... hold on. There is a little delay for me, because I'm using Elgato, and I don't know what you'll use. But it takes a second to hit the split. But when I hit it, you want to split right when the stinger hits him. So, boom. I did it a second late, but right at... I'm going to pause right when it's like that. Right as you see the cutscene where it's like right like that. You see, I was a second late, but it doesn't matter, because at the beginning you'll be a second late. Chances are, if there's a delay, once you see this little stupid face, that's when you got it. So that's basically the 80% tutorial. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I can cover the route if you're interested. Talk to you guys later.